Hello, artists. So today we are going to be making our own self-portraits and also doing some marker printing over top of them. So that should be pretty fun. So first, let's talk about what is a self-portrait. So what do you think a self-portrait is? Okay, a self-portrait is a drawing, a sculpture, a painting, or a photograph that represents the artist. If you were to draw a picture of yourself, that would be a self-portrait. If you were to draw a picture of your mom or your sister or someone else that is not you, that would just be called a portrait. So a self-portrait specifically means that the artist who made that artwork is the person that is pictured in the artwork as well. So here is one by an artist called Vincent van Gogh. This is a painting that he made of himself. And this is by an artist called Leonardo da Vinci. And this is a drawing that he made of himself. So today we are going to be making our own self-portraits. So I'm going to lead you through that. So you'll need to start with a piece of paper. Just a white piece of paper would be fine since we're going to do marker printing on top of it. So first, you're going to decide where your head would be and make a circle shape or an oval shape. So I'm going to put my head right here. So leave some space at the top in case your hair goes up a little bit and you want to draw your hair up there. And then you can leave some space at the bottom to put where your neck would be and where your shoulders would be. You would draw this really lightly with your pencil. So now I'm going to draw a straight line that goes from the top of my circle to the bottom. Make sure that you're doing this lightly so you can erase it later. And then draw a line that goes horizontally, so side to side, all the way through your circle. This little piece of pie, if this were a pie. And on the top of this line right here, we're going to start our eye. So you can draw a little football shape that just stays completely inside of this quadrant. So a little football shape, it's kind of like an oval, but with 2 points on the ends. So that's one eye. So now we're going to do the same thing over here. So I'm working above this line that's in the middle, and I'm not going past the middle point, that middle line that I made. So I'm just drawing 2 little football shapes. Once you have that, remember when we did our self-portraits at the very beginning, if you did the mask self-portrait with me, we talked about the iris, which is the colored part of your eye, and then the pupil, which is the black part of your eye that you see with. So we'll draw those in. So we're just going to add one circle that's nice and big, and then another smaller circle. Okay, so that's your iris and your pupil. And I'll do that with this one too. So my iris and then my pupil. Okay, and then you can add eyelashes if you want. So I'm just making little lines for my eyelashes on both of my eyes. Okay, and then I'm going to add eyebrows above my eyes. So I'm just going to make mine with a line and then 2 curving lines that meet at a point on the side. And I'll do the same over here. So a line and then a curving line that meets at a point. So those are my eyebrows. So now find the middle, which is just right where the 2 lines cross each other, and go below that a little bit, and you're going to make a little curved line. It looks like a tiny little smile, but this is going to be the start of our nose. So on the end of one curve, you're going to make another curve that curves back up, and you're going to go to the other side and do that again. So there's the bottom of our nose. Below the tip of your nose, you're going to make a curved line, just like we did for the start of our nose. And this one, we're going to start on one end, and we're going to go make a line that goes down. And then we're going to do the same on this side, a line that goes down. And then below this line, we're going to make another curve. And then we're going to meet this line up with the end of this line. we're going to do the same over here. So this is the top lip of my face. So now this line right here that we have at the bottom of it, we can curve it up on the ends to make like a little smile. So it's okay if while you're following along, you get a little bit lost. Just follow along with as much as you think you're able to do. So below this line, I'm going to make my bottom lip by meeting where the bottom of my top lip was and curving around until I meet to where I left off over there. So now I've got my mouth, my nose, and both of my eyes and my eyebrows. So now I'm going to draw my neck. So I'm just going to draw a straight line that goes down on both sides on the bottom. And then wherever I think my shoulders would start, I'm going to draw a curved line that goes down to the bottom of my paper. And I'll do that on both sides. Curved line that goes down. So then I'm going to draw a line for my shirt on the bottom of my neck. So at the 2 points where my neck ended, I'm going to draw a curved line. And then that's going to be like the top of my t-shirt if I was wearing a t-shirt. And then if you want to draw where your arms would be, you'll find down here and just draw a line on both sides where your arms would be. There you go. So now what we're missing is just our ears. If you can see your ears, you can't really see mine super well with my hair. So if you do not put your hair up a lot, or if you have short hair, then you'll draw your ears. So I'll just draw ears on here so that you can see what they would look like. So I'm just starting next to where my eye is, and I'm going to make this line that I drew, that big straight across line, is going to be the middle of my ear. So I'm just drawing a kind of a half circle for my ear. And then I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing, just like a half circle for my ear. So then you can draw your hair however your hair looks. So my hair splits on this side right here and goes straight back. So to draw this, I'm going to draw a bump up that goes down, and then a bump that goes down. So I'll show you what I mean. So it'll be over here. I'm going to draw a line here. Then I'm going to bump up from that line and curve all the way down to where my shoulder is. And then I'm going to start back at that line and bump all the way down and then stop where my shoulder is. And then if you have part of your hair that covers up your forehead, you would draw a curved line down to where your ear is. And then you could erase this line. So you're just drawing your hair however your hair usually looks, to the best of your ability. And then once you've got all of this, you're just going to erase crisscross line that you had before. All right, so I've erased those lines, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a black marker. So I'm going to use a Sharpie. Make sure that it's something that's not washable with just water. So you can use a black marker or like a black pen, just something to outline it and make it stand out a little bit. So I'll come back once I've done that. Okay, so now I've just outlined it with my marker, and now we're going to do some marker printing. So let's go into that. So in order to do marker printing, you will need either a piece of plastic or a piece of aluminum foil. So I'm going to use just a Ziploc bag, and that's going to work perfectly fine. And then you will also need something to make your paper wet. So this might be best if you have a spray bottle that you can fill with water, or if you want to use just a little sponge and get it wet and then wet your paper, you can do that too. But let's start with some markers. So pick out some Crayola washable markers, some colors that you want to use, and we're going to color that right on top of one side of our little Ziploc bag or piece of aluminum foil. This however you want on here, so I'm just going to use a little bit of blue right here, and this color will just slide right off, which is what we want. So I'm just kind of scribbling around wherever I want blue to be, And then I'll use a different color. Maybe I'll use green. So I'm just kind of filling in this space with the colors. You can see that my paper is actually bigger than this Ziploc baggie anyway, but that's okay. I'll show you what to do if you have a Ziploc bag or other piece of plastic or aluminum foil that is maybe too small for your paper size that you had. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece of paper and take a wet sponge and I'm going to wet my paper. So I'm just wiping my paper with a wet sponge all the way around my paper to get it nice and wet. So I want my whole paper from edge to edge all around to be really wet with that sponge, or if you're just going to spray it with a water bottle, that works too. So now I've got my paper all wet, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this with the marker side on top of that wet piece of paper. So I've got my wet piece of paper and I'm going to place the colored side right on top of part of my portrait. So you can see how the color is running, and if I lift that off, I've got that marker printed and it's dripping a little bit. So now you can see I've still got some marker juices left on here. So on the parts that are still white, I can just press that Ziploc baggie back down wherever I want to fill in some more space. So I'm going to fill in some more space over on this side. So you can really just play around with it. And for this marker printing, you can use whatever colors you want to color in on your little Ziploc bag or your piece of aluminum foil. So then that is the end of our project. So you can see my blue and green. It looks really cool how it's all blended together. It looks really awesome. All right, so don't forget, once you've finished this self-portrait marker printing, to take a picture if you are able and to go through and fill out the Google form and submit that to finish up your project and let me know you did it. All right, bye artists.